With the cold winter weather drawing in, here's the perfect recipe for all those family gatherings. It's a winter beef and vegetable casserole with dumplings, and you'll find all the ingredients you need on the creamline.co.uk website. All the ingredients are market fresh, so you definitely know that everything you're cooking is using the best ingredients. So let's get cooking. To make this dish for four, you'll need 800 grams of braising steak diced, 20 grams of butter, 30 grams of tomato paste, 30 grams of plain flour, 2 litres of water, 1 beef stock cube, 2 large carrots, peeled, trimmed and roughly diced, 2 medium onions, peeled and roughly diced, 2 celery sticks, strings, peeled and roughly diced, 1/4 of a swede, peeled and roughly diced, 2 bay leaves and a small bunch of fresh parsley, washed and chopped. So to make our dumplings, what we need is just these few ingredients here, as you can see. So I've got my, my beef suet, very simple recipe to make, really easy. We add our flour, a little bit of salt and pepper, which we have here. Always important to season if it's a savoury recipe. And then just combine the ingredients together, all the dry ingredients as you can see, like this. And then the water depends on how much you've accurately weighed your flour. If you've got exactly 200 grams, it might be 205, 210 or 180. You may need a little less or a little more water. So just gradually a little bit of water at a time. Like I say, you might need 200 mils, you might need 180, but you'll know yourself, as you can see here, if it's a little dry, just add a little more. Now there's enough dumpling recipe here to make around about 6 or 8 dumplings, so if you fancy having 2 each, there's plenty to go around. So as it starts to fold together, as you can see there now, it leaves the sides of the bowl. And at that point there now, we can take our knife out, remove our water out of the way, and then take the actual recipe out of the bowl, onto our surface, and from that point there now we can just literally divide it into however many dumplings you would like. Now it might be 4 you want, might be 6, might be 8. You don't have to shape them round if you don't want to. You can have them just a kind of a rustic shape, so it's all in keeping with that real winter warmer effect. And then we're going to leave them on a tray until we're ready to put them into the casserole, which is going to take around about 1 hour and 40 minutes to cook. So these go in just at the last minute, and they fluff up really nice, taking all the juice in the casserole and make an absolutely delicious recipe altogether. So to make our beef casserole, we're going to take some butter and we're going to then fry off the beef braising steak so we get it lovely and brown, ready to make the casserole. So to do that, we take a thick bottom pan onto the heat with a little bit of butter. Really nice salted or unsalted butter, whichever you prefer. While the butter's melting down, we're going to talk about our beef. So we've got some really nice braising steak here, which has been diced, as you can see, nice and big. So when it actually cooks, remember it's going to take about 1 hour and 40 minutes before the actual dumplings go in. It's still going to be nice and whole and juicy and not disintegrated. So we just wait for our butter to melt down, which you can hear it's just about there. And once the butter is melted, we go in with our braising steak. And we get this really brown, so we've got lots of flavour going into our casserole. Remember, flavour is colour. And talking of colour, when you buy your veg boxes through creamline.co.uk, your box will be full of colour. You're going to have all your fruit, your vegetables, and also just to mention, when you buy your veg boxes through most supermarkets, if you've got something you've ordered, like say pineapple, or it might be a swede or some carrots, if they haven't got it in stock, they'll substitute it for something else. Well, with Creamline, you don't get that. If you order carrots, you get carrots. Really important to remember that, because you want to make sure you've got carrots for your casserole, don't you? Right, okay, so our beef, and now it's just sizzling down the bottom there. We're getting all this nice colour into the beef chunks itself. We'll talk about the other ingredients to go into the recipe. So we've got what I call a mirepoix of vegetables. So we've got celery, carrots, onions, maybe some leeks as well. Just roughly chopped, doesn't have to be perfect shape and size, because they need to be nice and big and chunky like the beef chunks too. We've got some chopped parsley, again lots of flavour. We've got some lovely fresh bay leaves. So the beef is now all browned on all sides, as you can hear it sizzling away there. We can now start adding all the ingredients. So we're going with our root vegetables and our onions, celery, carrots, swede. Get them all nicely kind of coating all that nice juice from the beef, making sure it doesn't stick down the bottom there. Into there we can go with our bay leaves. They can go in at any point at the beginning, as you can see, along with our chopped parsley. Just all in, lots of flavour being transferred into the actual casserole itself. And the way we're going to thicken this in time, you'll find we're going to use tomato puree, which is also a thickening agent as well, but lots of flavour and colour, and also some plain flour, which helps thicken the juices from all the beef, from all the vegetables for our casserole. So as soon as all they're in, we go with the tomato puree, like this. The flour, again, just a nice little sprinkling, so it covers all the ingredients all the way over the top there. Okay, so all we're doing now is wait for that flour just to cook out. It takes about another 30 seconds to a minute. And while that's happening, we'll just quickly talk about the stock, because on the recipe we've got a stock cube and 2 litres of water, which obviously I've got here. I've prepared and combined together already. So once that's ready, our flour's cooked out with the tomato puree. We can then incorporate the stock straight into the pan there. And that will then turn all that nice liquid into a lovely casserole consistency over the space of 1 hour and 40 minutes. And after 1 hour and 40 minutes, we then add our dumplings, let it cook for another 15 to 20 minutes until they really swell up and puff up and take in all the flavour and the juices from the casserole, and we'll serve that to the family. So there's our nice beef and vegetable winter casserole, just stewing there nicely. It's had about 1 hour and 40 minutes. You can see we've got lovely chunky vegetables and beef still there. So the next thing to do is we need to season, because we only season towards the end, not at the beginning, otherwise it'd be too strong in salt and pepper. So a little salt and pepper. In we go. And then once that's all nicely stirred in, we can then incorporate our dumplings, which we have that we made earlier. Now obviously you can cook all of them, or if you wanted you could even freeze some of these if you didn't want to use them all for this one recipe. So I'm going to be rather generous and put them all into there. So just literally into the pan you go, around in a circle. And these obviously swell up quite a lot with it having the self-raising flour in there and the beef suet. And then once the last one's in, literally just turn the heat down to a kind of a low to the medium heat, with or without a lid, whichever your preference is, but leave them just to carry on cooking now for about 10 or 12 minutes, and they'll absorb lots of the moisture from the actual casserole, taking the flavour, and who needs potatoes with dumplings? And that's it! Serve this tasty Creamline casserole with a sprinkle of parsley. And remember, head to creamline.co.uk for all the vegetables used in this dish. They'll even deliver to your door, so there's not even a need to brave that wintry weather. Creamline Online, the convenience store to your door.